I think there are a couple of things that are really taking shape this year. As we heard today in the different panels, it's all about addressability, all about the big screen, merging the reach and capabilities of the big screen with the digital side of things, and advertisers, the industry getting excited about it and getting more opportunities to actually leverage what it means to do household reach and frequency based planning, right?
So tell us a bit about the kinds of projects you've been focusing on this year, in practical, tangible terms. What's been the big priority for you?
Well, my projects are always driven by the advertiser's agenda or the agency's agenda. What are they looking for actually? And if I had to name a couple of topics, it's definitely cross-screen measurement. How do we get aligned all these different video screens in terms of measurement and outcome? The second would be attribution. What's the impact of which kind of medium towards my goals? By the way, what are my goals as an advertiser, which is always a nice question to ask. And lastly, definitely around how does video, and we call it total video, evolve in terms of consumption, in terms of the user experience, in terms of the reach. That are about the three topics I'm thinking we're most dealing with at the moment.
So RTL famously operates across multiple markets in Europe. How challenging is that? The European landscape is very diverse, very fragmented.
Well, it's a super big challenge, but at the same time it's our promise to the advertising industry is that we simplify this continent of Europe with its different languages, different legislations, different obstacles, in order to give you a one-stop shop and simplified solution. So yes, it's a interesting environment, but it is the foundation of what we're doing. So we're trying to align broadcasters, we're trying to align digital, so that as an advertiser and as an agency, you have a simple way of accessing 800 million people in Europe.
So RTL is a great partnering business. You have lots of relationships. You recently announced a partnership in Germany with ProSieben around programmatic. Tell us a bit about that partnership. What are you doing together?
So first off, I think partnerships in general and alliances will be really the big industry topic from a publisher or broadcaster point of view in the next couple of years. In contrary to the US, where you see a lot of mergers and acquisitions, they're more straightforward. You'll see a lot of more alliances, whether it's around data, whether it's around access to inventory. So regarding Germany, I think if you've been around a bit in the business, you know that a couple of years back this wouldn't have been possible. No way. The biggest two enemies in the market, RTL and ProSieben sharing about 80% of the television market, getting together and doing something. But I think it's just the start of what we're going to see. The topic here for the German market is specifically to make the access to the addressable TV inventory as seamlessly, as broad, as best as possible for advertisers and agencies. And in order to do that, we need to have our own tech, our own gateway into it, because we know best how the video medium works, and to make sure that people get the most out of it and get the total reach with it, right? So it's not a walled garden anymore. You buy RTL or you buy ProSieben ATV inventory. It's both.
So at RTL, you've also made some really interesting acquisitions, companies like SpotX, YoSpace. Tell us a bit about why those are important for the group. How do you work with those companies?
So from an RTL Adconnect point of view, this is great because we talk about the infrastructure of the sales process, the infrastructure of how we deal between sell side and buy side. And again, it links to our promise, which is to make your life easier and simpler, because at the end of the day, yes, we can print money, but there's a limited amount of money in this industry, and we want to make sure that most of it lands where it should land, which is facing your possible customer in an exciting ad, right? So companies like SpotX and YoSpace help us to facilitate this environment.
That's fascinating. So we're heading into the 2020s. There's been a huge amount of change in the last decade. I'm guessing you're anticipating a lot of change in the decade ahead.
Yeah.
What are the big priorities for RTL moving into the 2020s? What are the things that you and your group have to get right?
I'd love to quote Bill Gates on this, but I don't know if I get it right. You overestimate the change in the next 3 years, but you underestimate it in the next 10 or something like that. So it's what I think will be essential in the next couple of years is that from our side or our part of the industry to talk about alliances, to get more people around the table, to talk about measurement, to making it an equal and fair game. I think there's always the wild card of political and legislative things that can come up. But again, times have changed, and now in a country like Germany, we're able to do something that we weren't able to do a couple of years back. But from an RTL Adconnect point of view, what we want to do is really build as multiple touch points as possible with the advertisers, whether they're in Asia, in the US. We opened 2 offices in the US. We have a great agent in Japan to make sure that we talk to companies early on before they start thinking about expanding into Europe or into other countries, so we can offer them a truly impactful video platform.
Daniel, have a fantastic Cannes.
I will.
Thank you for your time.